Ski and welcome into another edition of the PHNX D-backs podcast right here on PHNX. My name is Derek Montilla, occasionally known as your mayor of PHNX. This man next to me is occasionally known as the people's producer. It's the one and only Damon Dog. And of course, Jesse Friedman is traveling today, coming back to us from Los Angeles. He will be back tomorrow. He's going to hold down the fort while I take off to Las Vegas with Damon Dog. We're going to go have a good time in Vegas without Jesse. I figured out how to get a boys trip happening. I'm excited about it. It's unbelievable. I always win, Damon. I always win. Still high on last night's big win. This series win over the Dodgers, man. I mean, it's one of those mornings as a sports fan. It's a great day to wake up. You wake up and then the first thought in your brain is that your team did what it did last night to a team that, essentially they really needed to get going against. It was one of, they're just kind of in a difficult slump right now in a way. The Tiger series kind of made things look a little worse. And now here they are winning 2 out of 3 against the Dodgers at Dodger Stadium.
Yeah, it was obviously a massive win. I want to take a peek at the standings now. I mean, we're still in 4th place, but only a half game behind the Giants and only 1 game behind the Padres. If we had lost this series to the Dodgers, if we had gotten swept, like maybe a lot of us thought going into the series, that gap would start looking a lot worse, a lot less easy to climb. And
things look bleak,
For sure. I think losing to the Tigers, knowing you had the Dodgers coming up, that was like a tough pill to swallow. But taking care of business here is huge in terms of, getting in the wild card race.
Do we by chance have the photograph I sent over in Slack of the reason why the Arizona Diamondbacks might be onto their winning ways? I know I'm guessing we'll have that here in a moment, but it's weird to think about the fact that the D-backs have not won a game or won a series in Los Angeles since 2018. I know there were people in our Discord that were fact checking that simply because it doesn't make sense, right?
Yeah, and it seems unreal for sure.
It seems unreal. It seems unreal that they haven't shut out the Dodgers since 2017, right? These are facts that, like, things like that just happen in baseball games. Teams have a bad night. They play a team that's might not be as good as them, but the underdog comes out on top. Or sometimes even the worst team puts a whooping on the other team because it's baseball. Baseball is so strange. It's almost like what you're saying in regards to, just losing the series against the Dodgers, just getting swept in this series against the Dodgers. It is a 162 game season. And it is incredible to me how high we can get and how low we can get over the course of it based on one series win versus the next. It's insane, right? But
we did it last year and it got us to the World Series, Derek.
Correct.
It's over. We're back over and over again. And look where it got us.
We're going to maintain this level of insanity probably throughout this entire year because we have to, Damon. We have to do whatever it takes to help the Arizona Diamondbacks win baseball games, right? And even if that means getting Totri to stand in a spot last year, we called Totri at times while he was out drinking with friends just to come over to the office and stand in the spot, Damon. And we did that because, again, we're insane people, but also because it worked, right? We don't just do things for no purpose. We do things when it works.
We do it because we love this franchise and we want the best for this franchise.
We do it for the love of the game. Right. Yes, correct. We do it because we love this franchise. And of course, we'll do anything for a Diamondbacks win over the Los Angeles Dodgers. It means the world to us.
Anything.
And right now, things are good. It feels like, at least the vibes are high. People feel a little bit more confident about this team. There have been some victories this year. We said that the Diamondbacks have won their share of games, even though it hasn't been enough of as far as our liking goes. But this one is one of the biggest series wins, based on the opponent, based on the opponent's record. The Diamondbacks haven't really been able to get it done against teams above 500 the way that the Dodgers are. So this just has everybody feeling like things are rolling in the right direction.
Yeah, I mean, how can you not be? I mean, you're still like not like healthy. You know what I mean? Like you still have plenty of people to come back. If you could just hover right in this 500 spot, I know I've been Mr. Negative this season, but if you can sit in this spot, like right where you are, we're 1 game under 500, I believe right now. You can, when you get these reinforcements back, the vibes start creeping up. All of a sudden, look out for the Diamondbacks, because that's a team that they're going to feel like when they're healthy that no one can beat them because they haven't seen it yet. So
that's what we asked too. Hover around 500, keep it close to 500, do the best that you can to maintain while these guys that are injured can get right and come back. Of course, they're actually 2 games right now below 500, but right there in the mix with the Padres. Padres are at 500. Diamondbacks 2 games below 500. Giants 2 games below 500. There's not a lot of good teams in the National League right now. When you look across the board, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams with a winning record right now in the National League. When we make fun of the Phillies, which we're going to continue to do for the amount of games that they've played against teams over 500, it's because there aren't a lot of them. I mean, it's not really like the Phillies are ducking opponents. It's the fact that the majority of the National League is below 500, But again, Damon, do we have the picture?
We are working on it. We're gonna have it in 10 seconds.
All right. I feel like I'm blowing this now by keep bringing it up, but I mean, again, we used Totri last year, right? We're done with Totri. We gave Max Simpson a shot in the spot. What's that? Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I like Totri. Of course, get Totri out of the spot. He didn't want to be there. The vibes were starting to get low. Like,
he was a reluctant hero, right? We put
sure.
Totri in the spot simply because it worked. It had nothing to do with him wanting to be in the spot, caring about baseball, or even wanting to bring us joy, right? We know Totri very much does not like to bring other people joy.
No.
He's misery loves company kind of situation with him. But we might have found the answer for the spot. Damon, do we have the actual answer for the spot? Because so far the Arizona is still, what is happening? It's a picture, David. What is happening?
Jesus, Derek, it takes a second for some of this stuff for the sausage to get made.
It's crazy to me. Forget it. Anyway, we're on to injury updates.
No, not forget it.
Forget it. It's absolutely in the past.
I wanted to say this about this spot. Max there's never been anyone who wants to be the guy in the spot more than Max, but no one wants him there. That's the problem. Like Max,
we let him. We gave him a shot. We gave him a chance.
Yeah, I know we did, but like, because he,
do you remember what he did with it?
Over and over again? Like all he does is show up and stand in the spot. It's unbelievable.
Let's pull the curtain back a little bit. Max wanted the spot more than anything. Stood in the spot. Of
course.
I brought him a table to put his snacks on, so that should he not want to hold his snacks the whole time while standing in the spot, he didn't have to. What did Max do? Max leaves and goes and takes a phone call in his office, like as if standing in the spot, Damon, is a joke, as if it's something that secondary. We don't take seriously around this place. But I'm afraid to even ask. Do we have the image now? There he is, folks. The Arizona Diamondbacks remain undefeated since this moment. This is it. This is our office dog, and he brought us all the luck in the world. And like I said, the Diamondbacks went into Los Angeles and won 2 straight games after this dog stood in this spot. So I don't know what to say about it other than I'm done with everybody else. This is who will stand in the spot for the next picture. All right. Anyway, Jesse is going to be here tomorrow, but he did provide us with some good updates in regards to the Arizona Diamondbacks injury situation. By the way, that's Damon's number 1 dog right there, more so than us. We are Damon's dogs, but that's
absolutely.
Jesse did provide some injury updates in regards to Merrill Kelly. It would appear, according to Jesse's tweet, that Merrill Kelly is set to have imaging on his shoulder later this week, which might have caused some concern but it's a good thing, because if that imaging does come back clean, Lovullo said that Merrill Kelly could begin throwing shortly thereafter. Based on the date of this injury, Merrill Kelly is on the 60-day IL, so he could return as early as late June, around June 25th, around that date. Obviously, no guarantees that he will. We know how baseball is. It's ridiculous when it comes to pitchers needing to get ramped up and getting back to where they need to be in order to be stretched out and a starting pitcher in Major League Baseball. However, this is very encouraging. I mean, we had kind of a varying date when it comes to when Merrill Kelly could return. We were told that it could be as late as after the All-Star break. So again, if Merrill Kelly can start his throwing program this week, that's just huge for the Diamondbacks. The sooner they can get the mainstay back in the lineup, the better it is. I mean, what does Merrill Kelly returning to the rotation even mean for the Snakes? I mean, after last night's win, can you imagine this team at 100%? Like, this is the dream right now.
It is the dream, because I mean, we still had some question marks about Brandon Pfaadt, right, going into this season. Like, we didn't know. We love what we saw in the playoffs, but we didn't know, would he be able to sustain that? I'm now at the point where I'm like, I see Brandon Pfaadt as a frontline starting pitcher for going forward in his career. To be able to say that without Merrill Kelly pitching is crazy, because now when we get Merrill Kelly back, we're gonna have Zach Gallen, Merrill Kelly, Jordan Montgomery, Brandon Pfaadt, who I'm comfortable are all saying frontline guys. And then you got Erod, who I think is like a really good number 3 level pitcher. And that's your rotation. And Merrill Kelly, I mean, for a large majority of last season, I think was better than Zach Gallen. Like, he was more consistent. He was keeping the team afloat. Every Merrill Kelly start felt like a W, even when the team was struggling most. So it's going to be huge to get him back. He's by some accounts, like, maybe doesn't have the best stuff, but he might be the best, pitcher on our roster. And I can't wait.
It's incredible what he can do at times. You're right. He doesn't have the best stuff, but his stuff has gotten much better, and he's been the most consistent guy. I think that's the consistency
for sure
that Merrill Kelly can bring back to the starting rotation for a, team right now that has very little consistency. In fact, Brandon Pfaadt that you bring up is probably the most consistent pitcher, followed by Zach Gallen. We still don't know what Jordan Montgomery is going to be from game to game. We still don't know how, Erod is going to be once he returns and he's healthy, but we know what we're going to get out of Merrill Kelly. I think that the idea, though, of this starting rotation being complete really changes the identity of this team quite a bit. Changes a lot of things. It changes the course of this team's season in a way, because of the fact that gives Torey Lovullo and the front office so many more weapons that they could potentially look to out of the bullpen. That
absolutely,
solidifies the rotation. If all of those guys can be what we think they could be, then that's going to be one less concern for this team as far as the moves they have to make. There is so many moves that this team right now is having to kind of figure out and shift bodies around in order to just have a complete starting rotation out there at a major league level. As it stands right now, we know Slade Cecconi got sent down, and they brought up Brandon Hughes. We should see a corresponding move in regards to the final game here against the Miami Marlins, which we'll talk about shortly. But going back to Erod, there's some more encouraging news for Eduardo Rodriguez, because he started throwing at 75 feet this week and continues to be on the road to recovery. We should see Erod here, hopefully around the same time as Merrill Kelly, probably earlier. So, I mean, to get those two guys back and to add that to the starting rotation is crazy. It's crazy the impact that those starting pitchers could just have on the rest of the team, right? You have a level of confidence behind those guys going out there and throwing every 5 days. You have the changes that it brings to the bullpen. There's just a lot of things here. I mean, there's some injured players, injured position players that when the Diamondbacks get out definitely can help, right? We have Geraldo Perdomo, which you have been known to be a fan of, right?
Some would say.
Torey said this week that he actually expects Perdomo to be back before Alek Thomas, which I don't know how to take that information, because that seems unfortunate for Alek Thomas. Alex seemed like he was so close to coming back. Even shortly after Perdomo got injured, it felt like Alek Thomas was close to coming back. So this setback is unfortunate for Thomas. It's unfortunate, for the Diamondbacks, but we do have Corbin Carroll eating sunflower seeds while he's making catches in center field. So I feel better about, Alek missing more time than I would if we heard that Erod had another setback or Merrill Kelly's imaging came back and there's a setback due to the imaging. Like the starting pitchers right now to me are crucial and change everything for this team. Position players definitely could help. We've said it though. The position players that are missing, Perdomo and Alek, they're not going to change the world when it comes to offense. Like defense, yes, defensively, they could really shore up this team and, get them back to that identity that they had from last year as far as playing good baseball consistently all the time. However, I don't know if Perdomo and Alek Thomas are going to really bring, a lot offensively when they return, enough to say that they're going to change, this team. Merrill Kelly coming back, Erod getting healthy, that literally could change the trajectory of this team, right? So, and I know Perdomo still has all of the vibes, and like Perdomo has
he's a leader of men
about him. He's a leader of men. He absolutely is. He could still actually be back before the end of this month, we're hearing, but it just doesn't seem likely based on the fact that he's still not running 100% on his weight, on his knee and things like that. But this also
It's wild that, I know you don't mess with hamstring injuries, but it's wild that Perdomo tore a ligament in his knee and is set to be back sooner.
Had surgery.
His hamstring.
Yeah. Right. And of course, Perdomo, one thing Tori told us was that Perdomo is he's like he's supposed to run at like 60%. He's running at 70%. He's doing more and he's ahead of schedule, but it's also like, hey, let's take it easy, right? We're hearing all about all of these setbacks, and at this point, don't want to see a Perdomo setback. What I do want to know, though, is what do we do with Kevin Newman when Perdomo does return? What do we do with one of the most consistent players in the starting lineup right now when Jerry P comes back?
Yeah, that was an interesting point that you made. Like in terms of like offensive output, I don't know how much better necessarily we're getting with Alek and Jerry back, because Newman has performed pretty well offensively. Like if Perdomo was having the season that Newman was having right now statistically, I think we'd all
thrilled.
Yeah, I think we'd be over the moon with it. Same thing with Alek Thomas and Jake McCarthy, right? Yeah. Like if you want to put it that way, like Jake's been pretty damn good. Maybe you'd like to see a little bit more power out of Alek, but Jake's hitting like around 300. So it's hard to say that we're going to get so much better behind the plate with those guys. But I think it's just a mental thing, like stuff that you can't put a tangible number on, like just having your guys back, having your buddies
boys are back. Yeah,
exactly. And like you said, defensively, it'll be extremely helpful. Just because.
But even then, Kevin Newman's been very good defensively.
He has been good. I think he's. I think I could be wrong, but I think Kevin Newman's had other seasons of his career where he hasn't been so good defensively.
Yes.
So you could make the argument that maybe it would just like we trust Jerry a little bit more, but Kevin has been good defensively. Don't get me wrong. I think Alek is obviously a huge upgrade over having Corbin in center field and Jake in right field, and switching Corbin over to right field. But
do you notice how much better Corbin plays center field on the road?
Well, I don't know if it's an on the road thing, but it seems like when he's playing with confidence and when he's hitting triples, all of a sudden his defense is a lot more confident. He looks a lot better. Like,
brother,
it's way easier to watch.
You and I are both guilty of head assing, especially when we make a mistake, right? Like all of a sudden you do go into like a bit of a spiral based on, one mistake. And now you start making other mistakes in other areas, or more importantly, forget even, making more mistakes. Just you're stuck in your head about that mistake you made as you're advancing into the future. And you're just sitting there still thinking about it and dwelling on it. Right. And I feel like Corbin wants to be so good that's, I guess a weakness for him is the fact that he probably does get down on himself so much about the mistakes that it makes it hard for him to just flush it, as Tori would say, and move on. Right. But
we showed it in that I made a short of it yesterday. Go check it out on our YouTube. But we also showed it on yesterday's post-game show. Like when Jesse asked him about Ketel's hit streak, have you seen Corbin light up like that all season long?
Not this
That's
season.
that
really
is the happiest he's looked all season. He was like, good.
I was going to say, it reminded me of when we were talking to him about collecting baseball cards during spring training. That was the last time, that conversation was the last time that I saw him have that big of a smile on his face, joking about, which of his baseball cards is his favorite, saying it's a secret and all that kind of stuff. Right. But like, yeah, I mean, he plays with a lot of joy. He also plays with a lot of intensity. And sometimes that intensity, I think, can overpower the joy when things aren't going his way.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think he just cares so much about, this is all he cares about. We always talk about that.
It strikes me as this. You know how fans can get mad when a baseball team that is losing is joking around and having a good time in the dugout, right? Like, people are literally saying, like, why are they having a good time? They've lost 7 in a row. Like, what is there to be happy about? And it's like that attitude, I guess you could say, is probably an internal feeling for Corbin. Like, it feels like when things are going bad, he shouldn't be showing any joy externally.
Yeah.
And does it. But it's also just the fact he's not experiencing probably any joy. But he should, after the Diamondbacks did what they did to the Dodgers, because this was a great team effort. Corbin's had 3 triples this week. Everybody feels like they're contributing once again, and things are going well. Back to the injury updates, though. When it comes to setbacks, we do have one setback to discuss, and that was that Miguel Castro had to shut down his throwing program after feeling discomfort in his right shoulder. He won't throw again for a few more days, so there's a setback there. I'm sure some fans aren't too concerned about that, considering the way that Miguel Castro was pitching at times this season for this team. However, you don't know how much that injury might have been impacting his effectiveness on the mound. So again, right now things are improving for the bullpen, and it feels like they are slowly but surely sifting through what they have to find the guys that Torey Lovullo can count on. Joe Mantiply has been incredibly consistent as of late.
Torey said he's throwing him every day.
Every single day out there. He's going to go throw one pitch and get an out. That's all he needs.
I don't think that's going to end so well, Torey.
I don't know. I don't think so either. Justin Martinez also very good for this team. So again, the relief pitching that's
putting it lightly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that would be like putting it lightly about Ryan Thompson, right? Justin Martinez, Ryan Thompson. I had Steve Zinsmeister from the Diamondbacks pregame show ask me after our little fusion dance last night, which 2 Diamondbacks members I would fuse together. And then he told me Justin Martinez and Ryan Thompson, because you're throwing submarine 102 miles per hour. And I am with it.
First off, he'd be a starter, because that's the grossest pitcher I've ever seen in my life. A 0.64 ERA for Justin Martinez this year.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, the whip's a little bit higher.
0.83 for Ryan Thompson. I said 0.83, I think, for Ryan Thompson.
Let me see here.
Man.
Yeah, 0.84 for Ryan Thompson. The whip on Justin Martinez 1.29, so that's a little bit higher than maybe you would expect for that ERA. But
sure.
But that's the kind of pitcher he's going to be. He's going to walk guys because he throws so damn hard.
And he allows outs, but I think the one thing we've seen about him so far is that he gets himself out of those jams. Ryan Nelson got into some very, very hot water yesterday. We don't see Justin Martinez get himself quite into that trouble, but there is a level of confidence, right? When you're watching Justin Martinez pitch, you don't feel that same uneasiness that you feel when other members of the bullpen are out there, especially once they allow a hit or once they allow a base runner.
You
start feeling much differently about their outing.
Like even with and I love him to death, but even with Ginkel, like when Ginkel lets a guy on, all of a sudden you're like,
yeah.
I don't know how I feel about this lead right now, but
especially if it's the first guy, because it does feel like with Ginkel, right? He's either lights out or he really is struggling, and like you kind of get like he throws 2 pitches and you're like,
absolutely. And with Ryan Thompson, when he gets a guy on, I go, okay, so when's the double play happening?
Right.
That's so good.
That's a fact. That's exactly how I feel about it too. Like Justin Martinez too. You're like, yeah, he's going to strike the next 3 guys out though. So it's fine. It's fine. But speaking of pitchers, let's take a look at the probable pitchers for this upcoming series against the Miami Marlins, because there's one notable missing name here, which is who would be going in game 3 for the Diamondbacks. We have Zach Gallen going up against Braxton Garrett in game 1. That looks like an advantage Diamondbacks with Garrett's 10.24 ERA. Jordan Montgomery in game 2 going up against Sixto Sanchez, which is just an incredible name. Sixto
It's the best
Sanchez.
name.
Like
It's a superstar name.
That's an anime villain name, Sixto Sanchez. Like that guy runs the universe in some anime. But anyway, last game we have TBD for the Arizona Diamondbacks going up against Ryan Weathers for the Marlins, and according to our very own Jesse Friedman, that TBD will most likely be filled by Tommy Henry or Blake Walston. Torrey does not intend on doing another opener bullpen game, nor does he intend on going with Slade, who has to spend 15 days down before he can return anyway, so he wouldn't be eligible to be up for this game. But feel fairly confident about those two guys. I feel fairly confident about possibly seeing Tommy Henry or Blake Walston get the start there in game 3. But this is what I'm talking about. I can't wait for these days to be over. I can't wait for the Diamondbacks to just have a starting rotation, and we don't have to guess or figure out what they're going to do for one of the games over the next 5 days. This has been something that has gone on for entirely too long. And I mean, it's really, I think, the thing that's held this team. There's a lot of factors. There's been a lot of bad games, but the starting pitching being so inconsistent just really feels like the team gets started off on the wrong foot. I think that could be why you see so many game 1 losses this year by the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, maybe it has a lot to do with it. But I mean, just looking at that pitching matchup, I feel great. I mean, granted, I would have said I felt awful about the Dodgers series. So what does that mean? It means absolutely nothing. But
it means nothing. But how we feel means nothing. It has zero impact on the game. It's wild, but we still come on here and say how we feel.
Braxton Garrett has only pitched 2 games this year. Obviously hasn't been good, but the last 2 years before this year, he's had a 3.66 and a 3.58 ERA. So I think he's actually their best. He's their best pitcher. This is like the ace matchup. This will be maybe the Marlins' best chance. Sixto Sanchez is not very good. Jordan Montgomery hopefully steps it up a little bit. And he hasn't been fantastic recently, so it'd be nice to see him just go out there and shove. And then Ryan Weathers, looking at it here, you're like, 3.49 ERA, that's pretty good. Ryan Weathers is a terrible pitcher. I'm looking at his ERA. Last year he had a 7.62. Granted, he only pitched 3 games, but he had a 6.25 the year before that for the Padres. Like, Ryan Weathers isn't scary at all, despite this ERA. If we're gonna have a game where we don't know who the starter is going to be going into it, that's the one for it to happen. Yeah. So I'm good. I'm feeling great about this series, to be honest. Let's start stacking.
With a record of 17-34, the Miami Marlins have the 3rd worst record in all of baseball, but they are 7-3 in their last 10 because of course they are. Of course they're going to come in here and have a great run as they come into Diamondbacks. We talked about this with the Reds though, right? The Reds were a bad team. Diamondbacks took care of business against the Reds. Marlins are playing better baseball as of late, but the Diamondbacks absolutely should take care of Marlins, right? Of the Marlins. They should hopefully ride this confidence from this Dodgers series and, come in here and of course, take care of business against the Marlins. Everybody's a huge fan of TBD. TBD jerseys sold out.
Can I just say, Derek, that when I was making the graphic, I put like the silhouette on there, and then I was like, should I just take off the stats and make TBD bigger? And then I was like, you know what? I think the people are gonna absolutely eat it up when I put that TBD has a 0.00 ERA, and now he's
undefeated this season.
He's the ace on this roster.
He is absolutely the ace of the roster.
I know my people. I know my audience.
Yep, you're right. Of course, we love that audience. We love you guys. Thank you so much for being here in the PHNX Sports YouTube channel. Of course, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, do so now. Sign up for notifications. That way you won't miss whenever our shows go live, whether or not it's me and Jesse or me and Damon. Here we were wondering what we were going to talk about, and we didn't even get out of segment 1 for 30 whole minutes. So, I mean,
we just love Jesse? Ball.
We just love ball. We could just talk ball all day long. Of course, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, do so right now. Sign up for notifications. That way you don't miss whenever our shows go live. We do a lot of breaking shows around this network known as PHNX. So make sure you don't miss out on those. Of course, drop us a like. We love when you leave us a like. Of course, everybody loves when you leave us a like, but do so now. Make sure you drop a like before you get out of here. If you're listening on the audio podcasting side, make sure you subscribe over there. Leave us a review. We appreciate those 5-star reviews a bit, but most importantly, make sure you're subscribed on your favorite audio podcasting app. Of course, also, make sure if you're joining us here, if you're leaving a like, if you're becoming part of our family, become part of the inner circle over at Circle K. You can do so, and you can save yourself a considerable amount of money, especially if you're someone that frequents Circle K all the time. Right now, they have those any size Polar Pops for 79 cents. Again, that doesn't even make financial sense. The cup alone has to be worth more than 79 cents, let alone the substance, the drink that you put inside of it. So make sure to stop by right now. And of course, if you join the Inner Circle program for free by downloading the Circle K app today, you can save even more on those Polar Pops. You can save more on all the delicious food that they have there, and you can save more on gas. Of course, terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details. But when you do sign up for the Inner Circle, you can save 25 cents per gallon on your first 5 Phillips, and then save 3 cents per gallon every single day after that. If you're a premium member like these guys over here, you'll save 5 cents off per gallon every day after that. So join the Inner Circle for free now. Become part of this little family we got with our friends at Circle K.
Speaking of joining, what Circle K are you going to stop at on your way to Vegas?
Oh, that's a great question. I have like 3 Circle Ks right in my vicinity, so it all depends on which direction we're heading out. Most likely, it'll be the one right here at 35th Avenue in Happy Valley, which is very close to my home. But it's important to figure that out, right? You got to map out your Circle Ks. I mean, they're very convenient, so you don't really have to go very far to find one, but they're just right here.
I could throw a rock in any direction if I walked outside my apartment, and I would come within 100 feet of a Circle K.
And see, look, we accuse Elise of being a known baseball GM, but she might just in fact be an executive with Circle K, because she is reminding us that today is fuel day at Circle K from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. So forget going tomorrow, Damon. I'm going to go fill up the car today, and I'm going to be ready to head out for that road trip to Las Vegas tomorrow morning.
Good call.
Fueled up, clean car, ready to go.
40 cents off.
Bag of snacks, 40 cents off per gallon. Go fill up your tank right now. What are you waiting for?
Derek, would you feel like you're siphoning gas from Circle K when you're getting 40 cents per gallon? That's criminal.
I already feel like paying only 79 cents for an extra large Polar Pop is criminal alone in itself. I know that cup is worth more than that, but
100%.
Circle K, they're doing it for the people. They are the people's stop, much like you're the people's producer. Of course, the people's sunglasses might come from our friends at Shady Rays, and that's only because, as we've talked about time and time again, Shady Rays has the craziest lost and protection program, lost and broken replacement program, and all of eyewear. If you lose or break your Shady Rays, even on day one, they told us they'll send you out a brand new pair. No questions asked at all. And of course, that's important. Sunglasses, they're hard to keep track of. And more importantly, when you put them in your pocket, it's very easy, as I have done on more than one occasion, to sit down and break those bad boys, right? I got thick thighs, Damon. I mean, sometimes it's an advantage. It's not always an advantage. So you could crush your sunglasses very easily, but luckily Shady Rays has your back. They will make sure you get a new pair. Not to mention that they have some of the clearest optics in all of eyewear. And some amazing designs. I have these pair of Shady Rays, which I did lose and get returned to me. And they have like little specks of like red and blue, and then their black sunglasses. They literally go with every single outfit that I own. I try to maybe pick up another pair, but I'm like, no, my Shady Rays go better with that outfit than anything I can find. So exclusively for our listeners right now, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Head to shadyrays.com and use code PHNX for 35% off a pair of polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Well, we have some more Major League Baseball news to talk about. And of course, shout out to Andrew Dang. Appreciate you, my guy. He said, who would pitch tomorrow if Kelly and Erod comes back? You mean like if they both came back tomorrow? I would imagine Merrill Kelly might be the one. Let's say like if instead of Blake Walston, this isn't what's going to happen. But if for some fictitious reason it wasn't Blake Walston and it wasn't, Tommy Henry, and Merrill Kelly was ready to go, I would think that Merrill Kelly would get the start before Erod, but who knows? Who knows how that's going to work out? Most likely those two guys aren't going to return at the same time. And I'm guessing when they're ready, they'll just kind of be slotted in wherever, wherever they can, wherever the next spot in the starting rotation pops up, that's where I imagine we're going to see one of those two guys, hopefully sooner than later. But we do thank you so much, Andrew, for your super chat. Of course, we also want to take a look, like I said, at our power rankings for Major League Baseball for this week. So let's take a look at what we are cooking up. The Philadelphia Phillies stay absolutely scorching hot right now. They are our number one team in baseball. They are 36-14. They have the best record in baseball. They have a plus 90 run differential, Damon. It's fucking insane how good this team is right now. They are on a 5-game winning streak, and I'm happy to report that they finally have a winning record against plus 500 teams. The Phillies are now 4-2 against 500 teams with a record of 500 or better. So now they've played 6 whole games against teams with a plus 500 record. Good for them. Good for them. Moving
That's
up
huge.
into the second slot, moving up 2 spaces, is the New York Yankees at number 2. The Yankees continue to be very good. A plus 79 run differential for them. They are 8-2 in their last 10 games, and they currently sport the best record in the American League. Not really a fluke there with what the Yankees are doing, and they're playing some good baseball. Meanwhile, down 1 spot, Los Angeles Dodgers. I don't know if you heard, but they just lost 2 out of 3 to the Arizona Diamondbacks. That might or might not have much to do with the fact that they've moved down. They are 33-19 with a plus 77 run differential. And again, the Dodgers, I think seeing them play the Diamondbacks, we got a chance to see a lot of their weaknesses exposed and up close. So I think the Dodgers are frauds, and we're going to continue to see them drop. Cleveland Guardians.
That's crazy.
It's crazy. Cleveland Guardians up 2 spots. We have a few teams that are up. Yankees moved up 2 spots to number 2 from number 4. Guardians move up 2 spots from number 6 to number 4. And then we have the Royals up 1 spot from 7 to 6. But of course, the Guardians just continue to quietly play really good baseball. Damon, they are 9-1 in their last 10 games. They have a 14-7 record against teams with a record above 500, and they're currently 33-17 with a plus 65 run differential.
Yeah, I mean, and they just swept the Twins, I believe.
Yep, that is the case.
The Twins, who round out the back of our list at number 10, sweeping a team in the top 10 is pretty impressive stuff.
Especially a team like the Twins that have been as hot as they have been lately.
Yeah.
The Twins have maintained, they've still been very good. They did lose that. They're 3-7 in their last 10, but they currently have a 26-23 record, plus 5 run differential. Honorable mention there at the end. It could have been the Seattle Mariners sneaking in. They currently lead their division, but Mariners had a plus 1 run differential. It seems like they're just borderline there when you take a look at what they've been doing compared to some of these other teams. Going back to the list again, Guardians have been very good. Braves, not so good lately. 2-4 this week, 28-18 record, plus 46 run differential. Ronald Acuna Jr. continues to not be very good, but their starting pitching is amazing and cannot be stopped at times, it feels like.
And they're still 10 games over 500. That's
right.
That's the Braves playing bad baseball.
Even with looking bad, they're still 28-18. It's incredible.
It's what the Dodgers do too. Like if the Dodgers and the Braves, I think, are the 2 teams in baseball where it's like if they are playing bad baseball, they are still, one of the 3 to 4 best teams in baseball. And it sucks, but that's the reality of how deep their teams are, how good their rotations are. Like those teams are just completely built different. Not that they're unbeatable. This sport makes it where super teams are not, necessarily like a shoe-in to win it all, but they definitely play by a little bit different standards than the rest of the league in terms of just the depth that they have.
Baseball is very hard to predict, right? And I think that's the biggest problem, is that even when you sign guys that were hitting 300 and your team is doing really well one season, guys are doing well, their projections are great for their career, you think they're going to be, a superstar in this league, things just don't pan out. Or like I even said earlier, even when you do all of this during the course of a 162 game season, you still have the randomness of the postseason where anything can happen. And at that point, it just takes a team to be better for 3 days, for 3 games in order to bounce you. And I think that I mean, you could say that about most sports, but I do feel like football and basketball and stuff that they play out a little bit more like you would expect. The favorites tend to be the favorites for a reason. They tend to win those games. You're going to have a lower seed every once in a while make it through, but baseball just feels like it's so different and so random at times that it's hard. But that's what makes those teams like the Braves so good.
Yeah.
Those teams like the Dodgers so good, right? Like you said, the fact that they can go through a slump and they'll still only lose like 3 out of 5 or 2 out of 6 or something like that. And that's a bad week for them. Whereas with the Diamondbacks slump, that's 0 for 10. You know what I mean? Like that's going to be a really, really bad stretch for them. So these good
thing
teams.
Looking at, oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Just one thing looking at these standings here, like when I'm looking at the American League Central, remember before the season when we were like, this division stinks, like who's possibly going to come out of this division?
And 3 teams have winning records right now in the division.
Yeah, right now you got Guardians at 33-17, which is just ridiculous. Like that's right. So good. The Royals at 32-19, so just
with a plus
72
them. Run differential for the Royals. Like the Royals
are
respect
good.
on the Royals name, right?
The Royals are
what
really
they did
good
this offseason, it felt like it was like some sort of like the B squad being formed, like they went out and got every great free agent that was not really a top 10 free agent. And it has worked out really well for them. But you look at the Diamondbacks, right? Like Kevin Newman and Jock Peterson might be the greatest free agent pickups of the entire offseason. Just like everybody expected, right? So, I mean,
it was clear as day. Yeah, and then you got the Twins who won 17 of 19 games not that long ago.
Right.
And then you look down, like I was laughing because you look down at the American League West, who we all assume to be like a gauntlet. Like you look at the American League West on paper, you're like, the Rangers just won it all. The Astros show up to the final 4 teams every single year, no matter what. And the Mariners have the best pitching staff in baseball when you like on paper. So, but then you look at that division, the Mariners are 3 games above 500, and then every other team in that division is under 500. Astros 6 games under 500. Rangers 2 games under 500.
And
baseball is just a wild sport.
Every single team in that division has a losing record against teams with a record of 500 or better. Every single team. Mariners 13-16, Rangers 7-10, Astros 6-19. 6-19. The Astros. We talk about the Phillies being 4-2, and the Astros are 6-19 against teams with a 500 record or better, or above 500 record. My God.
Which of course means that the Astros will be in the ALDS the ALCS at the end of the year, just because that's just how it's just going to work. Yeah.
Baseball. Well, let's take a look at the rest of our power rankings here. Orioles made a pretty significant drop here with the way they played. They're down 2 spots. I don't know if that was based on their actual play or just the fact I wanted to spite Bo Brock, because sometimes I do things just for spite around here. But they did get swept.
They got swept by the Cardinals.
That was the first time the Baltimore Orioles have been swept since 2022. 106 series in a row that they did not get swept, and it has finally ended. And the Orioles, they're frauds. They're done too now. That's their entire season down the drain. No, I kid, but still, Brewers lead their division right now. They lead the NL Central. They're 4-6 in their last 10, but they still have a 28-21 record with a plus 38 run differential. And then rounding out the top 10, we have the Cubs. They're right behind the Brewers in the National League Central at 27-23. They have a plus 2 run differential. They are 4-6 in their last 10 games. Shota Imanaga continues to be absolutely incredible, and I am jealous every single day that the Diamondbacks did not pick him up. Every single day, just because I remember how much we talked about Shota and how much we were like, oh yeah, he's the guy flying under the radar. He could be the perfect guy, right? He's like we get the guy from Japan, but we don't pay nearly as much as like a Yoshinobu or Otani. And meanwhile, Shota Imanaga is the best pitcher in baseball right now, and it's wild. It's wild.
That was Jacob Franklin's guy. He really wanted Shota. Yes. I remember. Yes. Jacob knows pitching pretty well in particular. And then I don't know, Derek, did you see that picture that was floating around Twitter the other day Shota taking a picture with the new Chicago Sky
Yes,
graphics.
yes.
It's like when Ichiro, right? Like, remember when Ichiro, they were like, "Hey, Tom Brady wants to meet you,"
Yeah,
and he was
everybody
like,
wants to meet you. Sure.
"Cool. Who's
I
he?"
don't know who Tom Brady
Yeah,
is, but yeah,
that's
I'd be
cool. Like,
yeah.
it's Shota. It's, I mean, not to quite Tom Brady level, but like Angel Reese and Lisa
Oh,
Cardoso, and they're really good, and they're both top 5 picks, and they're about to throw out the first pitch, and Shota's just standing there like, who are these people? I've never heard of these people in
I
my
don't
life,
know.
and they were towering over him.
Yeah,
That
that
was
was
the
hilarious
funniest
too.
part too. Yeah.
Yeah. Honorable mention, like I said, the Mariners there for leading their division. Cardinals for sweeping the Orioles. They've been playing much better baseball as of late than they were. Let's take a look. Where were the Cardinals at? Cardinals are 8-2 in their last 10, so good for the Cardinals. And then, of course,
Well,
give a little shout out to the Diamondbacks. Right, they're almost they've almost gotten back to the summit, about 500 right now, 2 games below. Currently have a +7 run differential. If the Diamondbacks, thinking about this realistically, not trying to be too reactionary or just too high on the win, but if the Diamondbacks can get the job done against the Marlins and sweep the Marlins, Diamondbacks have a +500 record on Monday. They're 1 game above 500. That's something that seems fairly incredible to me, considering
yeah,
the ups and downs we've experienced with this team this season.
absolutely. I mean, if based off of all the injuries and stuff that we've had, I wouldn't have thought that was possible necessarily. But and it's not, and the frustrating part is they've blown so many games too. Like,
Yeah.
they
Yes.
in reality they easily could be over 500. And
You could
think
easily give
about,
them five more wins right now,
yeah, and think about
and
where
I don't think
what we'd
that's
be feeling.
ridiculous. Yeah,
Like, imagine we're 3 games over 500 with our starting shortstop, starting center fielder, and 2 of our 5 of our rotation out. Like, and our closer for majority of this season thus far. Like, that would be unbelievable. And we're still in a decent spot, but like it does hurt a little bit knowing how close we can be. But I don't. I mean, season's just getting started, Derek. I'm back. I'm feeling good. I'm
we're
ready to
back.
go.
We're all back. We're back. I will say this: better to experience this in April and May than July,
True.
right? I mean, not to say that they're going to necessarily get it together and go on a roll for the rest of the season, but I would much prefer that their struggles are early in the season where they have a chance to adapt, learn from them, find some
Make
pieces in the
trades.
bullpen that they can
Yeah.
rely on, make some trades before that deadline, and know what they want to roll into potentially into the postseason with. And I think that to me is good. I mean, it's not ideal. The ideal thing is to have the same level of health that the Diamondbacks had last year and have very few injuries and have your full team together for the majority of the season. But if you're going to struggle, it's not bad to struggle out of the gate because you still have plenty of time to put it together rather than struggling in July or August and then trying to have to figure it out late there in September. Last year, the Diamondbacks got some help. Let's be honest. They really didn't do it themselves to get into the postseason. But once they did, that was all them. That was all them. Damon, you looked at me like you were going to kill me there for a second, and I feel like I should just move on
No, it's
before.
more that I was looking at looking at other teams on the power rankings, right? Like,
Yeah.
other teams that could have just missed it with some explanations. And the Rangers, they have ESPN has the Rangers at 12th, 2 games under 500. And they peg them as like a second half breakout candidate team. And they put in there that their 2 best hitters haven't been pulling their weight really. And I just looked at Corey Seager and Adolis Garcia's stats, and I am sick to my stomach. These
What do we
guys
have?
ripped a ring away from me, ripped a ring away from my family, from my people, the beautiful people of this chat, of this show, of this program, of PHNX Sports, of the Valley. And
what they do in 2024 with their careers.
I have Corey Seager at a 253 average with a 751 OPS right now. Holy yuck. And then I have Adolis Garcia with a 253 average and an 800 on the dot OPS. I mean, like, what are we talking about, guys? These guys were pretty much the sole reason they won the championship last year. I guess Garcia's stats are pretty close to last year's stats, but That's not anywhere close to what Corey Seager was doing, especially in the postseason last year. His slugging percentage is down 200 points right now. I would have a ring on my finger.
Gotta be sick. Gotta be sick. Yeah, me too. We both have rings. I don't know how that would work out. And I still want to know where my NL championship ring is, but
yeah,
I'm not rushing anybody. They can, whenever we want to do this ceremony and get me and Damon and Jesse over there to give us our rings, we're available.
And Sean. Sean was part of the roster.
Sean, JJ gets a ring.
Yeah,
maybe it's a bigger ring. Like,
how did you put that on?
Ring? I mean, he has a tail. He can slip the tail through there.
It's like a collar.
We'll figure it out. Just get us the rings that we're owed, because I signed the Snakes Alive sign, Damon, right next to Corbin Carroll's name. If I sign that sign, I think I deserve a NL championship ring, and not the plastic one they're going to give away against the Phillies. I want a real one.
For sure.
Anyway, and you guys all deserve the real ones. Those of you that are diehards, you obviously deserve a real one. And even if you're not a diehard, you deserve it because you're a Diamondbacks fan. But maybe you could deserve it even more by becoming a diehard. Join us over here. Become part of our family at gophnx.com. Of course, you can get yourself all sorts of wonderful benefits, including discounts on our events, like our upcoming takeover at the Chase Field Pool. You can get a free t-shirt from the phnxlocker.com. You can get your membership card. You get access to all of Jesse's written content. You get access to all of our other content, including our diehard only mailbags, squeeze play, our game show for diehards, and so much more. So join us over here and become part of the family. Of course, another family you should be a part of is Desert Financial Credit Union. For more than 84 years, Desert Financial has been Arizona's largest, most trusted local credit union. They got me started. This home I'm in right now with these video games and stupid stuffed animals behind me, this has all been made possible by Desert Financial. They got me started on my home ownership journey, and they get you started as well. You can look to Desert Financial for checking and savings accounts, mortgages, loans, credit cards, investment options, and so much more. And when you open a free checking account online right now, you can get $200 in bonuses. Get started by visiting desertfinancial.com/200. Also, when you save that money, you can save even more money by buying tickets to events with Game Time, because Game Time is going to save you money. They're going to save you up to 60% off by buying tickets last minute for sports, concerts, comedy shows, everything you want to go see. You can save even more with exclusive in-app deals on select seats ahead of the game, and you get to see what the panoramic view from your seats are going to look like. You can plan where the closest bathroom is. You can see where the concession stands are. There's so much great about seeing where you're going to sit. They also have you covered with their lowest price guarantee. If they do not get you the lowest price, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets right now with Game Time. Download the app, create an account, and use code PHNX for $20 off your first purchase. Again, download the Game Time app, create that account, and redeem code PHNX for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Terms do apply.
Derek, you going to use Game Time in Vegas?
I might use Game Time in Vegas.
Maybe go see a show?
You know what the best part about Game Time and Vegas is? There's so much stuff going on there all the time that, yeah, at any point on a whim, it's going to be last minute, right? Because I'm going to want to go like, oh, what time is it? It's 1. Their show starts at 4. I need to get last minute tickets. Game Time is the place to get them. And Damon and I are definitely going to be buying Game Time tickets together while drinking Fat Tuesday drinks with the extra shot in it and everything. We're going to have a great time. And I'm just doing this just to make Jesse jealous. I picked the one city I knew Jesse would not want to go to because there's no baseball team in Las Vegas yet. And he's not a big fan of the drinking. There's no mountain to climb on the Strip. Right. It's a good time. It's a good time.
That's what you said to him yesterday, right?
Oh, yeah. Like, I told him that, and he was furious. He's like, what do you mean no mountain? It's Nevada. I'm like, no, we're not going that far off the Strip. Stop it. But Damon, we do have a little thing to discuss, something we might not necessarily, like one of those things Jesse might not care about, but I know you care about, and I know I care about, and that's fashion. Fashion is very important to us. I mean, you can't look at these two guys right now and not saying they are not absolute icons of fashion, right? But let's talk about it, because the City Connect jerseys for 2024 have been released. We were told before the season there would be 9 total jerseys. So there are 3 still to be determined, including one for the Dodgers, which may have leaked, and we might have already talked about it, and it might just be boring and terrible, just like their other City Connect jersey is. We still have the Twins and the Blue Jays to be released, but we do have 6 jerseys this year that have been released, have been worn by the teams. And I just wanted to go through them real fast to get Damon's hot take on them, give my hot take on them, on which jerseys are good and which jerseys are not good. I think we can just do like a thumbs up, thumbs down kind of situation on each jersey, Damon. But I think there is one jersey that is universally beloved and might be a contender for the best City Connect jersey in all of Major League Baseball, and that's Tampa Bay, the Rays.
Yeah.
Am I wrong about that? Like,
No,
with what
you're
Tampa
not
Bay
wrong
has
about
done,
that.
it's incredible.
It's really cool. It's
just
really,
so
really
unique.
cool.
It's so different.
Yeah.
I saw one person say that they don't like the fact that they use like the dark, like the gray, the black kind of back. Look, other teams might have missed the mark when it came to whatever color combinations that they used. What Tampa Bay did was flawless. The colors, the bright colors, everything they did, the skateboard logo, the different Tampa Bay, Devil Rays logo. Like, I don't remember a team. I can't say another team has really knocked it out of the park, and excuse that terrible pun cliche. But with their jerseys, the same way that Tampa did. I mean, a lot of times we look at these jerseys and say like, yeah, that one's good. I like that. Or no, that one's not bad. Most of the time, because it's City Connect, we tend to say like, I might not get it because I don't live in that city, but I bet people there like it, or whatever the case may be. Tampa Bay's jersey, the City Connect jersey, like, people want it. They are not even fans of the team, and they're just like, I want one of those. I want the hat.
I saw
it. Cool.
Yeah, I saw a hat with these like City Connect colors, and I was like, should I buy that? I was like, I'm not a Rays fan at all. But yeah, here's that jersey.
That's sick, man. That is
so
sick.
Cool. The flames.
The purple and the green make me so jealous too, because obviously we know how we feel about those colors here in Arizona, right? So fuck off with that, because that is fire. The Tampa Bay Fire logo is great. Like, I mean, just everything about it. They didn't get like they have plenty of nods to their team. They have plenty of nods to the city of Tampa, but they didn't get like really too caught up in that. Like, they just made something that was cool. And I think that's something that teams need to focus on much more than just trying so hard to incorporate all of these, meaningful things from the city in the design.
Yeah. I mean, I think the allure of the Rays one is that they like went back to Devil Rays kind of in a way.
Yeah, right.
Like, that's
which the ray of sunshine thing might be the worst fucking thing in baseball. Like, I had someone have to tell me that, because I was like, what do you mean? What ray of sunshine? Like, I honestly did not know what the ray of sunshine thing was. And that apparently is that's what they moved away from when they left the manta ray behind, the devil ray behind. They moved into being rays of fucking sunshine. I still like I like my original idea, where if they're going to be called the Rays, it should just be some guy looking like a creep with a mustache like this, standing on a corner. The Rays.
It's been that for a long time, Derek.
That could be an incredible mascot. He could have a trench coat. You just walk around being a creep around the stadium, like a big cartoony guy, though, like the college mascot. Like the creep. You know what I mean? That's what they could call him. He could be the creep. Like, there's the creep.
Derek, there's children at the game.
All right, fine. Let's talk about another jersey that came out. Let's go with the St. Louis Cardinals. The Lou? Or do you have a different one? You go. What do you got?
We're going to go back and forth, winners, losers.
Sure. I mean, I don't like the Cardinals one at all, so I'd say that's in my book.
Yeah, we could go with that one.
The Cardinals come out with a jersey essentially that looks exactly like their regular jersey, just with the word the Lou across, which I don't even hate the Lou, except for the fact that it's hilarious that people from the UK think that you have a jersey that just says the bathroom across it, the toilet.
The Lou. When I heard the Lou at first, I kind of was like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. And then now I'm kind of warming up to the Lou a little bit.
That's one of those things like, okay, that's the city, right? The city that they're in. But do people in St. Louis call it the Lou? I need to know that, right?
Yeah, because it's huge. It's everything.
Because I know, I said earlier, the Toronto Blue Jays still have a jersey coming out, City Connect this year. And I guarantee you, they're going to put the 6 on there somewhere. The 6. And people fucking from Toronto think that that's dumb as shit. And they don't like the 6 thing. But I guarantee you, they're still going to put it on the jersey. Watch. But yeah, the Lou, I don't know. I don't really know about the Lou. I also don't know, like, again, you have a chance to be creative. You have a chance to do something wild and different. And you guys just come with your same jersey. Oh, Elise says the guy's looking like a creeping mascot for the team that has Wander Franco. Okay, yeah, that's probably not the best idea. You're right. But like I think that was my big, like, I don't care about the Lou thing as much as I care about the lack of originality with the rest of the jersey. Oh, and this is the guy you pick. This fraud.
I did it for you. I think I like the Lou. I like the
Oh my God, Paul Goldschmidt, blink if you're being held captive, my guy. Are you all right?
I like the light pinstripes on the jersey. You can kind of see like a
there are like okay, yeah, in his bicep. Oh yeah.
Those are cool. The hat stinks. The hat stinks out loud.
Stinks. It stinks. It's
I'm sorry,
really
it does.
It's bad. It's bad. Also, St. Louis has powder blue jerseys, thought of as some of the best jerseys in baseball, right?
For sure.
Phillies have them. Yeah. They have them. Like, any team that has powder blue jerseys is blessed. I don't know why you wouldn't do something more with the powder blue. I don't know. There's lots of things. I don't want to nitpick on that one, but again, do more. Speaking of one that did more that I like, that's actually, I didn't know this, but this is actually, there's like a split on this, is the Cleveland Guardians, New Jersey. People apparently love it, and then some people absolutely hate it. And I wanted to get, what were your thoughts on the Cleveland Guardians jersey?
Why do people hate it?
I think they feel like they just dipped too hard into the retro bag and went really hard with the retro look, with the 3-color pinstripes, or the 3-color stripes on the arm, and then they have it going down the pants. I love this jersey. I think it's great. Really cool. I think it's clean. If you're asking me, I think the only thing I have a problem with this is I think this should be a regular jersey and not a City Connect. I don't know if it has all of the stuff on it that a City Connect necessarily has. Like I said, all of the little details and things, but I dig it. And I know this is silly, but I also like the fact that their advertising patch goes so well with the stripes they went there. I know that might be stupid, but it makes it, the whole jersey just comes together well, and I really like it.
I really like that one. I think it's a solid one.
And the Guardians identity is like a City Connect thing, right? With the fact that they get that identity from, those the statues on the bridge, and that so much of their kind of look and design ideas, including their baseball logo and stuff, comes from the architecture of that. It's one of those things that made me like it more, because I didn't understand what they were doing beforehand. I drove through Cleveland one time very quickly, and that's all I have when it comes to my knowledge of Cleveland as a city. So I appreciate that, because that's what a City Connect jersey should do, and the Cleveland Guardians are kind of doing that all the time, not just with a City Connect jersey.
Yeah, I mean, I think, and really in particular about that Guardians jersey uniform situation, I really like that 3-panel hat, like the navy blue back here, the white right here, the red right here on the bill. That looks really good.
I gave that to my Savannah Bananas Dynasty team on the on MLB The Show 24, and it looks it's sick. Yeah. Blue hat, yellow brim, white front. Yeah, it's sick. It's sick.
I think that they're like, the Nationals try to do that all the time, and I don't like it when they do it, because everything with the Nationals feels so forced to me. Like, all their uniforms feel like just very just like manufactured. But like those Guardians ones, for something about them takes me back to like an old school retro kind of look. I think it looks pretty cool. I'm a big fan of the hat in particular.
The National Cherry Blossoms City Connect is still one of the best City Connect jerseys out there.
Oh, without question. It's retired now, right?
Like, it's everything else the Nationals do, right? It's the DC identity that the Nationals have. I don't like their new jerseys this year. I don't like a lot of things about it, because it's all very like patriotic, and it's very governmental from DC and stuff. I get it though, because I went to DC not too long ago, and like you're consumed by that. That city is like so different compared to every other city in the United States I've ever been to that I understand why they get so wrapped up in that stuff. Everything has to be the Commanders and the this and the National and like fucking figure it out. Have some sort of other identity, but besides the fact the president lives in your city. That's lame. Speaking of lame, let's talk about two together because they're both equally lame for the same reasons. Detroit Tigers, Philadelphia Phillies. Garbage and garbage. Did the same guy design both of these? Because they're both bad and they're both bad in the same way.
Yeah, let's talk about the Tigers one first.
Oh, with their fucking tire tracks over their thing. Like, I don't know what's worse, the Motor City across the chest or the Detroit on the hat. I hate them both.
By far the hat.
Everything
by far the hat. I can get behind a little bit the tire tracks. Like, it's not the worst thing I've ever seen.
It's a good idea in concept. They didn't execute it well, but it's a good idea in concept.
That hat is the worst thing I've ever seen in my life.
Oh my God. And it has the sickest underbrim you've ever seen. They have a blue tiger face on the underbrim of the hat.
What?
It is the most incredible thing. Yeah, what? It's a tiger. It's a tiger underneath there. It's like a tiger. It's awesome. It's rad.
That sounds
it's something more fitted for like a hat you sell to fans and maybe not necessarily the hat the players wear. But again, they made that like the coolest part, the part you can barely see, the undervisor, you know? And I don't know. I like at least I'll say this, at least the Detroit, the color scheme, everything, it at least goes with their team and their city. It looks very much like a Lions kind of thing. And they're bringing the two teams together and that's fine. The Phillies went based on the Philadelphia flag and it might quite possibly be the biggest miss of all of these considering everything that team and that city has going on for them, right? Like, you could have gone with Kelly green and people would have lost their fucking minds, but you go with blue and yellow. Like it's a borderline Brewers jersey combo. I don't understand what they did and it makes me mad looking at it.
I love blue and yellow together on uniforms. Like it's maybe my favorite color combo. Like I'm so, as much as I hate them, I'm so jealous of UCLA, for example. I think that they just have like the coolest uniforms in like every sport. But yeah, you're right. These stink. Like these stink out loud.
Fucking Harry Potter font on the front, the gradient from the blue to the black down, like lower. Like I just hate these. And the hats aren't even that bad. I don't hate the hat, but again, the hat is what it is, right? Like the hat's Philadelphia
decent.
Phillies hat. It's the whatever the color scheme they went with. Like the hat would have been fine as this design, but with any color scheme that matched the jersey. The hat's fine, but. And again, I try to look at the origin of these jerseys to see what these guys are doing with it. And like, I get that they were going with the Philadelphia city flag, but it's just bad. It's not good. It's not good. And then we got one more before we get out of here. My last one is the New York Mets. And I personally love this jersey. I think this is like those little details that I've been talking about that teams want to do for the City Connect. I think this is done well. I like the bridge on the hat. I like the color of the jersey. I like the little transit system thing on the sleeves. I didn't know that so many people, especially Mets fans themselves, didn't like this. Apparently, there is a huge feeling that this looks more like a Yankees jersey than a Mets jersey, which is what specifically pisses a lot of people off. But I didn't take that away from it looking at it initially. I just thought it was cool. But I get it. I mean, I think the one improvement I would have made is instead of NYC across the front, go with Queens, go with, I don't know, like, go with the borough you play in rather than New York City. Like
it's a little bit more City Connect.
New York City belongs to the like Yankees most of the time, right? Like it's like if you're for an elitist, a white collar person, you're a Yankees fan. And if you're the blue collar everyday guy, you root for the Mets or whatever. Right. But I mean, again, there's an identity. There's cool things about representing the actual like borough that your stadium is in or whatever. But
again, I think that'd be a lot better way to connect to like the place that you're at, no doubt. But I think you're gonna have a lot of Mets fans like Yoshi's gonna be mad at you for saying that.
I know
New York City's team is the Yankees.
I know. Like prove me wrong though. Like show me unequivocal data that says that I'm wrong about that. But let's go ahead and predict, because I think the Dodgers are going to end up as losers. I think their jersey, which we've seen the leak of, already sucks, and it's going to suck even more. And the Dodgers, despite despite their resources and everything that they do, they still can't figure out how to do an alternate jersey that doesn't look exactly like their fucking jersey. Oh, we just love our jersey so much. We don't want to change it at all. So we're going to make it blue and say Los Dodgers or something. That's dumb.
Their jerseys are classic, but you're not wrong.
Yes.
Like they can't figure out a way to scrape that look.
They can't. I think the Twins will probably hit it out of the park. And I have a feeling the Blue Jays might come up with a good design and then are going to ruin it by putting the 6 on it. And maybe a picture of Drake, which is probably not good in this climate. So we'll see what happens. But of course, we thank you guys so much for being here. We thank you guys for stopping by. Of course, Jesse will be back tomorrow with a post-game show. I'm sure Damon will also be here too. He's obligated to be here a little bit longer than I am. I don't know. Are you producing, Jesse, or are we both leaving early tomorrow for Las Vegas? How's that working?
I'll be producing Jesse tomorrow.
All right. So catch Damon Dog. Of course, he is at Damon Dog. That's DAWG. I am Damon's Dogs. Bark, bark. Of course, you can follow me on Twitter. I'm at Cap_Caveman with a K, but all roads do lead to at PHNX_sports on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. You can also follow our show at PHNX_DBacks. Well, that's all we got for you guys today. We thank you guys so much for stopping by. Make sure to drop a like before you get out of here. Make sure you have yourself a wonderful weekend. We're actually off on Memorial Day, as well as the Diamondbacks are off on Memorial Day. So after tomorrow's post-game show, we will be back on Tuesday. And maybe Jesse and I will get back together and do this show as a duo. I don't know. No promises there. But of course, until then, we thank you guys so much again for stopping by. We hope you have a wonderful weekend. And remember, kids, baseball is fun, but it is so much more fun when Merrill Kelly is healthy and part of your starting rotation.
We all silly like the mayor.